He's known in the province of New Brunswick as an expert in this field and nationally as well. He's going to look at some apps or some programs today that can help you with your learning. There's going to be a lot of information in a short period of time because there's a lot to know in this field. But if any additional questions are needed, are needed, just at the end of this, there'll be a way to contact all of us and send me some questions if you don't think of them now or don't feel comfortable when you ask. And I will get back to you with some specific information for you. So with no further ado, Charles Savassier, take it away. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Brian. I'm going to share my screen. Hold on there, screen 2. Okay, close my email. And I'll bring things to the screen that I'm sharing. So right now, you should be able to see a Word document with the agenda of what I want to talk about today. On top, it says assistive technology, apps and equipment that can help you in your studies. I'm starting with equipment today, which is unusual for me. I usually go with the apps first, but because Christmas is coming, I figure, it might be interesting to talk about some of the equipment that would help you. Maybe you guys can ask Santa to purchase a couple for you. So let's go through this list. This is not a comprehensive list. I mean, we got 45 minutes, so I had to pick and choose. So I'm coming up with those 5 pieces of equipment here. First one being the Smart Pen. Let me bring up the websites for those. And of course, lots of information, as Brian mentioned, in a short time frame. So, if we do have a help desk that you guys can call us, I'll finish the session with that today. But for now, if you look at the Livescribe, this is a pen actually that will actually record. There's different version of it. This is the latest. This is the older model. But basically, this pen. And I don't see their paper coming up there, so slight delay on their website refresh. But basically, you have a piece of paper, like a book, electronic book, not electronic, I'm sorry, a paper book that you can take notes on. And you can actually handwrite your notes and at the same time record what the teacher or the professor is talking about. So it is a great tool, considering that, handwriting is considered a very good technology or method to be able to do note-taking. You could combine this with the Cornell method of taking notes or whatever other strategies that we discussed today, which is a great concept to pair the technology with a learning strategy. And the beauty about this pen is that, unlike a regular pen, a regular pen does not record. Well, this one will record, and then you could go back and listen to the instructions, and that's going to help you, especially if you use the Cornell method of note-taking, because when you're doing your review in the bottom, you're trying to remember the information and put it in your own words. Well, while you're reviewing your notes, you can go back and listen to it. That's the advantage of this one. Excellent technology. Not sure what the latest cost is. I haven't bought one for for a year now at least. But the concept are about probably anywhere between 100 to 300, depending on the ones you get. And you could buy the books as well, which is just paper, but the paper is a specialized paper. We can actually click on record and then press pause and press stop recording. Of course, you need to work with your learning strategist. Make sure you get permission to record while you're in class. Let's not forget about that. The other one is a C-Pen reader. This one is a Canadian prices. If you look at it, it's a bit pricey, $330, but you can actually scan your book, your content, and then it's going to read it to you. You don't need a computer, right? Basically, if you look at that person here, she's got that connected to her earbuds, and she's reading the book and she's scanning as she goes. You know, it's one technology. It helps you with the reading. What I like about it, it's got all kinds of dictionaries. It can do translation. You know, so if you're learning a second language, for example, excellent technology for that. Um, and of course, it is available in Canada at a price of around $330. The other thing is not a pen this time, it's a mouse. So if you're going to get a mouse, you might as well get a scanner mouse. So what's a scanner mouse? Well, you know, you guys are doing pretty good with your technology because you have pretty much a website that you can connect to, and then you see your technology, right? You see your content. You know, you can access your course material online using Brightspace. And then you got Teams that you could communicate with people. So, I mean, a lot of it's already online. But what if there's a book that the teacher wants you to read that is not online? How do you bring that to the computer so your computer can help you read that content? Well, you need to scan it. And one of the best ways to scan it sometimes is just by using a simple mouse. And the way it works is that you basically click on the button, you go around the page, you do the entire page. You don't have to do it in order, which is nice. And then it's about $79 US there, because that's American pricing. And then you just send that to whatever format you want. For example, you could use doc format, which is Microsoft Word, PDF format, Excel format, and there's a few more. So depending on what you're doing, for example, this person took that piece of paper and she scanned it, or he scanned it with the mouse, and then he brought it up into Microsoft Word, and then he can work with it. You can listen to the text, you can edit the text even, right? And you can move things around. So you don't have to retype anything again if you don't, you know, if you can bring it up on your screen. So that is what we call a scanner mouse. Um, there's also your cell phone can be a good scanner because you have an application, which I'll talk about in a second, uh, which application to take pictures from your book. But sometimes it's complicated because you have to make sure that the picture is a good quality picture. So in other words, you have to take the camera, your phone being the camera, and put it straight on top of the page and try not to take the picture crooked, and make sure that it's zoomed properly and so on. So there's a natural jig that was created by a company. It's called a scan jig. Um, I forget the price. I paid $60 for mine, I think Canadian pricing. It comes from the United States. But if you look at some of the pictures, you put the paper in the back, you put the cell phone in the front or the tablet, you know, or you could actually put the paper on the table and put the cell phone on top, you know, and I think there's another picture of that right here somewhere. There. So you got the cell phone on top and then the book on the bottom. So it takes better quality pictures. So it's like the old saying with computers, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't take a good picture to start from, you're going to have a hard time reading that picture. So the scan jig will help you with that. Okay. So that's all that is. Just useful technology. Um, Another one that can be very similar, and I'm just on Amazon right now, is a phone holder, you know, just for your cell phone. Now, I don't have a good example of somebody taking a picture of a piece of paper here, but you can imagine putting your phone in that holder. You can position that holder any way you want, right? And then you could take a picture. It works good if your cell phone's got the picture button on the side. If you got to use the screen, it's a bit harder to find that button. But on my cell phone, I got a Google phone, and I just use the side picture to take the snapshot, and that works pretty good. So I'm using my cell phone as a scanner instead of using a scan jig. I can use one of those phone holders. This one's about 30 some dollars, but there's so many different choices. There's another format for $19, you know, whatever. Notice you put a book down here, you put your phone there, you position it properly, then you could snap your picture. And finally, for another piece of equipment, um, actually there's two more. Bone conducting headset. If you're going to need a headset, you need to consider what kind of headset you want. So, I mean, yeah, everybody's going for gaming headset, or some people prefer the earbud type. This is the one I like, and the reason I like this one, it is bone conducting, which means I'm putting it on the side, just in front of my ears, on the jawbone actually, and I'm hearing through the bone, and it works really good. It actually keeps my ears open, so I can actually multitask. Right, so if I'm listening to my computer, but I'm also listening to the professor, I can do both because of that type of technology. It's not for everybody. You need to be able to do two things at once, obviously. But if that's what you're looking for, that's a choice. They're about $100 to $300, depending on the make and model you buy. Um, Joggers actually like this type of technologies because they're jogging around in the streets and they want to be able to hear for cars. So it's a safe technology for people that are actively running and or bicycling, so they can hear what's going on around them while still listening to their music, if you wish, or to their audio, maybe the podcast or whatever. Okay. Now, of course, the opposite of that is the actual noise canceling headset. Now, noise canceling, that's a specific technology. Okay, so for example, there's two types of noise cancellation. There's passive noise cancellation, okay, and there's active noise cancellation. Okay, so the passive noise cancellation, well, you guys seen those people? They're mowing the lawn on their lawnmower, or they're using a chainsaw or some kind of heavy equipment, and they're putting ear protections. Well, that's what that is. Passive. It's basically physically going to cover your ears and try to eliminate the outside noise as much as possible. I mean, you could buy one of those for $2 at Princess Auto. Um, Really, what you're looking for probably is active noise cancellation, and this is software driven, a lot more expensive, obviously, because it is electronic. Some of the models, and I'm just going to show you one right here. I don't know. Yeah, it's about $350. So that's number one in their list. I just Googled what's the best noise canceling for 2020. This one has the active noise canceling feature in it, and it's basically going to reduce the noise level by quite a bit. I never tried them, so I don't know if this one is actually going to eliminate all the noise level. I do have a pair here that does pretty good. There's still the ability to hear a bit what's going on, but it's very muted, and I consider that to be a pretty good technology in terms of canceling the noise around me. So that's some of the technology, or some of the equipment, I should say. Smart pen, reading pen, scanner, and phone being another choice for scanning. Scan jig, so a place to put your phone, or you could actually get a phone holder or a bone conducting type of headset. And of course, the noise canceling. I forgot to type this one. Okay. And at the end of the presentation, I'll leave you with a website. You can go and ask more information to us about this, and we can provide you more details if you want. I know I'm going fast here, but I only have a few 45 minutes, so I want to make sure that I got enough time for the apps, because that's the important part here. Okay. So Christmas coming, ask Santa maybe to bring you one of those, and it could help you with your studies. Okay. Let's talk about the apps. You guys are using Brightspace, you're using Teams, you're using Microsoft 365. In some case, you're actually using Office 2016, I believe. So anyway, you're using very form that already has built-in technology in it, and those are learning tools, and that's what I want to focus on right now. I will talk about some specialized software, but let's focus on what's built in first. Okay, so I'm going to go to my Office. I'm using the office.com. This is my Word. Okay, So if I want to use a dictation, for example, right? I can actually use it in two different ways here. There's a dictate feature in Word, right? So all I need to do is click on dictate. So now the computer is listening to me and it's typing what I say, period. So when I do Teams, sometimes it doesn't work that great, so I'll do it again. Notice there was a delay. I think it's because I'm sharing and I'm doing too many things at the same time here. So I'm going to delete that. Do it one more time. So I'm click on microphone. You got to wait for the beep. Notice that there it is. I just heard the beep. It is typing what I'm saying right now. A couple of typos. There is a feet, I mean beep, and they type feet instead. So sometimes I'll make some mistakes, but you can fix those because it's text. You can go back and edit it, right? That's the beauty about this. If you're using a computer, obviously that is not sharing a screen like I'm doing, it's going to work much better, okay? The concept here is that you should use that when you have difficulty writing a word, you don't know how to spell it, but you do know how to say it. So if you have words, for example, I'll just use a couple words, aluminum characteristics. Those are words that are hard to spell, but I know how to say those words. So why not just use the microphone and dictate it instead? Okay, so that's one way of using this feature. Now, you could tell it's a bit slow reacting to me right now. The other feature, also below the dictate, is the transcribe. Okay, so transcribe basically allows you to listen to the instructor. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to demo it. Maybe I'll just talk about it. So transcribe allows you to record the session just like we did with the Smart Pen, right? Very similar to the way the Smart Pen works, except it's done on your computer. You don't need to worry about using a pen. And then you could be taking notes as it's doing it. And then once the session is done, or once you're done recording, I should say, then you could basically send these notes to your Word document. Okay, it's not available on Word desktop. It's only available on Word online, and basically it's only available in Word at this time. Okay, it's a new feature. It might come to the other applications eventually, but right now, if you have Word online and you have dictation, you probably also have transcribe. And you can tell I'm not going to be able to demo because it's taking too long connecting here. But basically, you press record, the teacher or the students are communicating in the classroom, it's going to be recording all of it, right? And then it's going to be transcribing it. In other words, it's going to be transferring that audio into actual text on your Word document that you can listen to after, or you could work with, right? And so on and so on. So I'll stop this right now because it's taking too long.
That's really cool, Charles. Can you import an MP3?
Yeah, you can actually, if the screen would come up there, you could see the screen, you could select an audio file. So if the MP3 is already created, then you import that and you could transcribe that.
Beautiful.
So,
Thank you.
So you either create the audio file on or you import one. Okay. So now back to my focus. So dictation. Now we'll talk about the reading features, and there's so many reading features, right? And I don't know if you guys. I'll quiz you if somebody wants to mention it. There was one that was listed in your learning environment, Brightspace. So So I wonder if anybody remembers that reading features. I will talk about it, but if you want to, if you remember it, you could say it. Okay. But the first one I'm going to show you is the one that's built into Office or Microsoft environment. Okay. So for example, if I'm in Word Desktop, all right, I have one call, and I'm just going to select this line here because I don't want to read the entire document. And if I click on Review, read aloud right there. Okay. So you notice earlier I did dictation, which was under the Home tab. Okay. But this time I'm going to the Review tab and I can actually read aloud. And I think I just realized I forgot to share the audio. So you're probably not going to hear it. And it's slow reacting again. Yeah, it's freezing up. Let me just see if I can just pick a couple words maybe. Black screen, that's not a good sign. Yeah, so I'm having technical difficulties today. So anyway, so basically you saw it moving a bit there. That basically, if it worked properly, you should be able to hear that, and it would allow you to review what you wrote using audio instead of reading it with your eyes. Okay, so dictation, you talk and it will type. Read aloud is the opposite. You know, whatever you have typed, you select it and it will read it to you. Okay, that's one of the options, but there's also an immersive reader. Okay, so the immersive reader, if I open it up and I'm going to use the View tab this time, immersive reader is going to open it in the screen where I can actually have more tools. For example, I have a line focus. So if you're reading things on your own, let's say you have somebody with dyslexia, let's say, and then she's going or he's going through the list and he wants to read that and he's got difficulty with reading some of the words. Well, when you get to the word, notice that my syllable feature is on, which means it breaks down the word in the proper amount of syllables, right? So in this case, the word equipment is 2 syllables. So equipment. So it helps you read words that are more complex to read. Of course, equipment is not too bad, but conducting maybe. Let's bring up conducting. This one's got 3 syllables, right? Bone is 1 syllable. Conducting, right? That's like 3 syllable. Headset, 2 more syllables, and so on. Okay. You can change color, right? There's all kinds of features built in here. You could change the text size. You could change the column width, make text bigger, more spaces in between. All these features are built in, excuse me, to the immersive reader. There's also the read aloud feature, which will read the text to you. Okay, so you don't have to worry about buying a fancy software that's going to read to you. This one can read whatever you have in feature. Second, toolbar should appear on top here. There it is. It's just getting ready. Once it's here, should allow me to select some text here. Again, still operating a bit slow, so I'll give it time.
We're dragging Charles.
Yeah, I think it's the end of the day.
Even the internet's tired.
Yeah.
We may be having some network issues on our end. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be on my end too. Who knows? It might be. It might be an installation of software or something. There it is. I saw some flashing here a second ago. Okay, I'll stop it because it was trying to read on top here. So I'm going to go and I'll go back to my paragraph here. I'm going to take this one. See if I can read that one here. All right, that's enough. Press play. And you should see it move forward when it starts reading. So it was reading. You probably guys couldn't hear it because it kind of stopped because it's too slow to work properly. But it's not a feature. It's not a problem with the feature. It's actually a problem with the network. There it is. So you could probably see that it was highlighting in yellow as I was reading along, or as I was reading along. So basically, you can follow along the website as you listen to it. Okay. Now I got a lot of stuff open right now, so it's obviously not helping. Now, if I were to go back in Brightspace, which I don't have open right now, but I'll show you the plugin that is available in your Brightspace. If you go to readspeaker.com, this is where you can install that or try it. And actually, in most cases, a lot of websites, it's already there. You know, so if you see this little icon here, then you can actually press play and it's going to read that web page. So it is sometimes website dependent, right? So if you have the plugin, then you can use it. Or if you go to a website that's already set up for ReadSpeaker, then you could press just the play button on the web page. So anyway, readspeaker.com is the website. I'm going to leave that with you guys to visit that. Go ahead, Brian.
We have a site license for that.
You got a site license? Perfect. That's even better.
Yeah.
What's nice about the ReadSpeaker as opposed to the Read Aloud is you can actually use it in Chrome as well, right? So it's not just in Edge. So because in Chrome, there's no Read Aloud feature. If I go to Chrome, I'm here right now, and if I click on those three dots, there's no Read Aloud here, okay? So what do? Then you need the other one, which is the read.com or readplease.com. Or readspeaker.com, I'm sorry.
You have to set it up, but we have a site license. It doesn't take very long. We contact one of the learning strategists.
Excellent. So you guys need to try that. It's really worth it. Okay. The next one is the Immersive Reader. Let me close a few things here. I'm going to try to see if I can speed up things a bit here. Okay, so close all that. All right, ReadSpeaker. Yeah, we done that one. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so let's talk about note-taking. That was actually your last session before this one. Note-taking. What technology is good for note-taking? The Smart Pen. You know, that's one choice up here. Okay, and the Smart Pen can allow you to basically just take notes and record the audio as you're taking notes. That's great. But what about if you're using a PDF document? Okay, I want to work on that PDF document. Let me see if I can find one here. I'll just going to bring one that I saved somewhere. I probably have one. Here's one here. So it's a PDF document, okay? But I'm not going to double click on it because if I do that, for me, it's going to open in Adobe Acrobat, which is a fine tool. But I want to open it with Edge, and I'll show you why in a second. So I press the right mouse, open with, and select Edge. It goes into my browser as opposed to my Adobe Reader, because the browser can read PDF, you know, just as much as your readers can. And then from here, I can actually annotate. You know, I can draw, I can highlight. I actually have the read aloud feature here as well. Okay, so if I pick that document, for example, I can click on read aloud. All right. There we go. So you can see it move a bit there. Not as pretty as it was before, but it works. And then if I go into my other features here, hold on. I can draw. I can highlight. So if I'm highlighting, for example, I can select that and highlight a word. Okay. And I can pick all kinds of colors. All right. Smart tablet. All right. Captures. Whoops. All right. And so on and so on. I can draw. Just use a red, let's say a kind of a reddish color. All right. So that's just another way to highlight a document that is a digital document, because not everything you have is printed. Okay, so obviously if it's on your computer, then you can actually use those type of annotation feature, right? That you can actually write on a document. And on the PDF document, it's really a good feature, especially if you have a touch screen. All right, so if you have a touch screen, doesn't matter if it's an iPad or Windows. I'm using a touchscreen right now. It's a Windows machine, right? It's actually a computer, and I actually have a pen, right, that comes with it that I can actually draw directly on my screen. So it's just another form of taking notes. It's a digital form of taking notes, obviously, and I can write. You know, if I draw, I can actually write using, you know, the draw methods. And I can use that in all kinds of application, not just in the PDF here. But if I have a OneNote document, let me just see if I could bring that one up. It should be coming up. I'm using your basic OneNote. Just going to create a new page here. Okay. So again, here's my draw feature right here. Okay. So it's all there. I can actually highlight. All right. So this is a highlighter. You know, I can change color too if you click on it. Okay. Or I can use fine points, like this is a fine point marker here. And there's all kinds of other choices. I can actually erase too. So, I mean, if I draw something here, right, then you could always erase it and so on. So I could have brought my PDF right in here too, okay, which is another way to take notes. What I like about OneNote, and again, that's technologies you guys already have, is that you can get organized easily. You know, notice on the left here, I can add section, okay? And I can actually have more than one binder, but let's just pick a basic one here. For example, you know, you have an intro section, you have electricity 101. Maybe somebody is learning about electricity here, you know, and he's breaking down his course called Electricity 101 into lessons, one about Ohm's law, you know, one's about power, you know, whatever. Okay. So, and so on and so on. Right. And the categories could be anything you want. You know, you could have math. Right. So you bring your content into from math and you put it there. Okay. So why I like OneNote? It's because it's a great way to organize your environment. Okay. Especially if you're using an online environment like you guys are. You want to be able to put some stuff digitally online, so therefore you need a place to store it. Now, another one that I like for note taking is this one. Just going to change to a different website. Office Lens. Okay, so what is Office Lens? Well, that's an app that you could put on your cell phone or tablet. Okay, so why is that an app for note taking? Well, if you look at it, you got a piece of paper right there, or you got a whiteboard, doesn't matter, right? So you take a picture of that piece of paper, even if it's crooked. This one works well without the jig, actually. So even if it's crooked, your application can put it straight. Okay, if you have a whiteboard, notice how it's got some the light reflections on this whiteboard, and it's crooked, but the Office Lens allow you to take the picture. It's going to put it straight for you, and it can actually eliminate some of that light reflection. So that's fun. You're going to say, well, yeah, but I got a camera app that does that. True, but what you don't have is this. Okay, so the Office Lens, once you take the picture, allows you to save the picture somewhere, right? Where your camera apps will probably just save your picture either on the cloud somewhere or on your library on your phone. And if you're like me, you take tons of those pictures and then you're looking through that, trying to find your pictures, and you're not finding them because you got too many. Okay, so use Office Lens for your studies. Keep your camera app for your personal pictures. Separate the two. So with your studies, when you take a picture, then you're going to save it into OneNote, right? So you take the picture, you edit it, you save it to OneNote, and then once it's there, I don't know if I have one that I took here. I think I do somewhere. Hold on. I guess I don't. I don't see any. No. Yeah. So I didn't take any picture on this binder here, but I might on this one. Let me just go quickly. This one here. Yeah, I did. There's one. I took a picture of a piece of paper the other day. All right. And basically the picture I saved in my quick note. This is the date that I took it, right? And it was taken with Office Lens. I can rename that if I want. All right. So it's a rename feature right there. Or I could just go on top here and rename it here, which is fine. All right, but then I can work with that picture. I can actually go into View, Immersive Reader, and then it's going to bring it up, and I can listen to that text. You know, not only you can listen to it. I'll show you one more feature. Right, I'm not going to go and read all of that right now, but notice how my my syllables are there. Acknowledgement, that's a big one, right? Receipt. Oh, by the way, sometime, depending on which app you're using, your Immersive Reader will give you a picture dictionary. Okay, it's there in OneNote, and it's also there on your online version of Immersive Reader. Okay, so back to OneNote. But here's something else I can do. I could press the right mouse copy on that picture, and I can copy the text from the picture. So let's see what happens when I do that. And I'm just going to create another page. Text from picture, paste. Now there was a lot of actually lines there, right? So yeah, sure, it's going to give you some of that junk, but basically here's the text. You can work with that. Okay, so it's just another way, just like your mouse scanner that I showed you earlier can actually take the text from your page and scan it and bring it to Word. Well, your Office Lens can actually allow you to take a picture into OneNote, right mouse copy the picture or copy text from the picture, and then paste that anywhere you want. And then you can work with that text. Okay, so that's an option. It's very flexible in terms of application. It works just like your camera app does. Oh, I didn't want to get out of it there, but it works just like your camera app does, with the exception that it allows you to store it on your Microsoft platform. So it is called Office Lens. It is from Microsoft Corporation. So technically it's part of Office, if you think about it, or the Microsoft suite of products. Okay. Now, back to one more that I forgot to mention. I use Edge more than Chrome nowadays. I still use Chrome, but there's a feature in Edge that I think is worth mentioning, and it's basically called the collection. right here. So right beside favorite, there's this new icon called collection. So if I click on that, then if I click on, I don't know, I'll learn about window strategies, for example. This is a place that I put some website, but also notes about that website. So notice how I created my own notes about that website right here. So if you're researching, if you're working on a project, if you're working on a document, because this website could be a document, right? Then you could create a collection of stuff. And the stuff that I put here is just basically website down here and notes, which is basically just a little note. Right, that's all it is. Notice I just created another one down here. Okay, I'll show you a couple more of my collections. One that I like that I actually do, I find it useful because you know, at the end of each month, I have to do all these things, and I always forget. You know, it's like you need a checklist. You know, basically, and I don't like to create checklists. My wife creates enough checklists for me. So, but I could create a collection of things that I need to do. And for example, especially in my case, I have to go to this website at the end of each month, and I'm not going to log in there, but I got to do something there, and then I got to go here and do something there. All right, it's a bit slow, but it's coming. Same thing. So I got a collection of 3 websites, then some notes because I got to go to these folders and do something, and then another website, and I usually do that in this order. All right, and then some more. Okay, so this is a collection of things that I need to do, right? And it's called monthly tasks. That's the name that I give it, and it's just basically a collection of information, but also a collection of website that I really need to work on. You know, in this case, in order at the end of each month, which basically makes sense to group it, you know, into a collection, because that's what a collection is, right? A group of items that are similar in for whatever reason. Okay. Um, Final project was one that I did that was showing a student. For example, met somebody's taking course. You could have information on the course. This could be a website from your Brightspace. You know, it could be a page from your Whitespace, right? So basically, you go to your Whitespace page and you page and you add current page. So while you're using Brightspace, you can actually create collections, right, of things related to a lesson, things related to a project, if you wish, whatever. Quite flexible. Once you're done with a collection, you can easily remove them. All right, so if I come here and I click on the dot here, actually, if I click on there's a feature, I forget where it is. Click on that, you know, click on that, I can delete those quickly. All right, so it's very easy to work with, very easy to edit, very easy to create a collection because all you need to do is click on Start New Collection, give it a name, and then start saving stuff in it. Okay. Again, so that's basically a feature of Edge. You know, it's not in Chrome, not yet. Probably will be. I'm something maybe using a different name, but it's probably coming. And I know we only have a minute left, but I gotta finish with this one. This is Myro.com. It's a website, but you can download the app. So I downloaded the app. So this allows you to do all kinds of forms. For example, mind mapping. Mind mapping is an actual strategy when you're studying. Let's say you have to write a project, write a document on something. You can actually create a mind map, right? And if I go and create a mind map here, shouldn't be too long. Just loading. Okay. So let's say in this case, it's one, they want you to fix a problem, or in my case, I just want to write something. Let's say I got an essay on history of cars. I'm watching a new show on TV there about history of cars. So, all right. So who were the leader? Okay. All right. So I can talk who was involve. Okay. I could talk about where, and how, whatever. Okay. So you're actually creating yourself a document or a map of what you want to talk about in your essay, right? Or it could be anything. It could be a project that you're planning, right? Doesn't matter. It's just a great tool. And there's all kinds of feature. I'll finish with this one. Here's one that I was working on just to try the software last week. This is a prioritizing type of strategy, right? Where you have a graph, the importance on the left, the urgencies on the bottom. So you got your X and Y. And if you look at it, well, obviously what's important and what's urgent, the top right. So if I need to prioritize, this is what I'm going to focus on. So you can actually use that to help you with your planning and help with your prioritizing and all kinds of other template that you can find. And I guess that's it. We're running out of time. So I'll just put up our website. You guys know where to go when you have questions related to that technology. There is no cost, right? So I welcome everybody to go there and register, even if you want to receive some updates. We usually write a couple e-bulletins per month. Some resource you could go back and find all the older bulletins that we wrote. But if you click on contact us, it'll give you an email address. It'll give you a phone number you could call even, and then you could ask your questions. And I hope that's it. It's quite fast, but
it was quick, but that was awesome. I know it's the tip of the spear. A lot of stuff there, but anyway, thank you so much for helping us here today and sharing that information with us. You can get a hold of Charles right through his website, or again, if you have any questions, I'm also a certified assistive technology and technologist, and I have access to Charles if need be. So I think another session's coming up here on stress management. I don't know if there's a little break or not, but I'll let the other learning strategy